Today is December 13th, 2020, and we are in a small theater in Los Angeles, and it's completely empty except for myself and my friend Tony, who's taping this for me. I wanted to record a little show here. I'm calling it The Speed of Sound, and it represents 40 years of songwriting that I've done, mostly in garages and bedrooms, and never played for anyone. But one of the reasons I wanted to do this is, first of all, I have a 5-year-old son, or nearly 5-year-old son, and I want him to have a record of some of this music that I've worked on over the years, and I've got plenty of it. But also, at the moment, my father is in the hospital with COVID. He's in the ICU, but it's looking pretty good. My mother was in the hospital last week, and when I think about the things I don't know about my father, I figure let's make a record. I recommend this to everybody, and we always hear that, but let's try to do that. So these songs represent a lot of things in my life, and I'm going to talk a little bit in between each one and say a few things about what I was thinking when I wrote this song and maybe the circumstances of my life a bit. And again, it's primarily for my kid, so he knows something about me. But my dad, when I was a kid, used to play Puff the Magic Dragon, and my siblings would all cry, of course, when they get to the end of the song, because those of you know it, the dragon is lonely because a kid grows up and goes off and does his thing. So my dad, of course, made up a verse at the end where another kid comes along, and I think other dads probably did that too. And so anyway, I just that music in the household was a big thing. And then tragically, when in the early 70s, my dad cut off the tips of his fingers on his fretboard hand in a lawnmower, and he never played again. And so nothing he ever did was ever recorded. And I wish I had that recording of Puff the Magic Dragon and many other songs he did. And so we'll get right into it. My first song I'm going to play today is called Dove's Cove, and it's about making the most out of what you have. And I think in 2020, you couldn't pick a better time to do your best to make the most out of what you have. Reason now to scream. We all heard the tales of the sad songs, all know what they mean. But there ain't a mind that's deep enough to dam the light from our souls. Still, when we try to cleanse ourselves, it's like washing color from coal. But we ain't blessed with the good life for reasons we cannot know. We are blessed with this life in the land I call Dove's Cove. I only wanna whisper, no reason you won't hear. We've all been growing older, all got more to fear. But there ain't a well that's deep enough to drown the hope I hold. Still the climb seems perilous and the rope far too old. But we ain't blessed with the good life for reasons we cannot know. We are blessed with this life in the land I call Dove's Cove. There ain't a hole that a man could dig that he could call love's grave. And even if he buries love, it's easy for us to save. I could dig it up with a baby spoon, don't even need no tools. 'Cause sooner than later she'll surface soon and shine on all us fools. But we ain't blessed with the good life for reasons we cannot know. We are blessed with this life in the land I call Dove's Cove. So I was a little more nervous than I thought I'd be doing that. Next song, I want you to picture standing on top of the Empire State Building. It's 1980. I'm just a kid, never been up there. I'm up there with some friends looking out of the city. It's nighttime. And one thing I notice is the sound. And I didn't expect or know what to expect to go up there. I was pre-Instagram and pre-social media. So, and I hadn't seen Sleepless in Seattle yet. It wasn't out yet. So anyway, I'm up on top of that building. And I realized that some of the sound from the street carries up, particularly the sound of police sirens and ambulances and that sort of thing. And for me, to this day, I think about that sound, and I think there's a common theme in life where there's always a problem. You can hear it sometimes through media, social media, through anything. You can know about it through your neighbors, whatever. And you have to be careful that you're not too far removed. And being on top of the Empire State Building, the sound would carry up there, but you're in that safe place where nobody can actually ask for your help, and so you're safely removed from being responsible, and yet you're aware, right? So with that in mind, back in 1980, believe it or not, these are the kinds of things I think about now, and I even thought about then. I came up with this song called Siren. If I could find an angel, feel her touching me. I need to find an angel, it means so much to me. I try to race the wind, but it just catches up to me. I try to face my sins, but I never will be free. Hey, 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 hey. If I could kill my demons, feel them leaving me. I need to kill my demons, stop them from bleeding me. I try to walk on fire, my senses teasing me. I try to talk to tired, with sleep receiving me. Hey, 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 hey. Sleepless in a dream, someone buries me. I crawl like a child, no one carries me. I deny my past when I know it's haunting me. When I see the dawn at last, well, she just runs from me. Hey, hey, hey. So let's jump from 1980, let's jump right here to 2020. Pandemic, political division. But one thing that happened in 2020, and I don't want to talk too much about how I feel about it, only because, in this culture we have, you don't want to be accused anymore of cultural appropriation, right? What happened is on May 25th, George Floyd was killed by the police, and it's funny, I go back to, I'm talking about distance and sound, like in this case visuals, of course, which I've never watched and I cannot watch. I don't believe in taking somebody's pain and trying to use it for my own, for art, but the household I was raised in, the parents I have, there's no way to ignore it. So what I'm going to try to do here is, because it's not my personal pain, I'm just going to try to echo something about that pain, so at least that sound carries forward. Yeah. Fell asleep with the TV on, to a wall of words that just can't be won. All alone in the dying lights, I know that peace won't come without a fight. We've seen that hate leads to early grace, and justice served cannot serve both ways. I've watched a force take another soul. The truth can't hide, the truth can't hide anymore. Not anymore. 'Cause life is a fragile thing, needing air more than anything. I wanna breathe. I wanna breathe. You think by now we know our right from wrong. Why can't we all just get along? It's not enough to say we'll hope and pray. It's not enough just to say we'll change our ways. 'Cause life is a fragile thing, needing air more than anything. I wanna breathe. I wanna breathe. I wanna breathe. Based on that song, if anybody's watching this other than my family, you can pretty much figure I fall into the libtard snowflake category, and I have no problem with that at all. I was raised in a household by two very Catholic people who believe, I think they're what they call action Catholics. They believe in social justice. They believe in helping the poor, helping anybody less fortunate, over and over and over. It was driven into me that the goal is to make the world a better place by my parents. My parents made that clear, and there is no other goal. And it's hard because you don't always know what to do. But thankfully, I have a set of parents who are great role models to me, and here's a song about them. So nervous. I can't even play it. It's funny. Anyway, let me take a breath here. Yeah, it's hard to play a song for your parents, right? Especially if they've never heard it before. Oh man. Can I carry the torch that you've given me? For every man that's blind, you see, three can see. Out here you can judge me by what I can and cannot do, and by the methods I have used. Oh, I follow you. would go the distance you've shown to me. You know a man can tire easily. Out here you can judge me by what I have or have not learned, and by which bridges I have burned. Oh, I follow you. Oh, I follow you. Can I carry the hope now you've given me? For every man that's lost, you say, we can save 3. Out here you can judge me by what I do or do not say, and by which dues I fail to pay. Oh, I follow you. Oh, I follow you. Oh, I follow you. Oh, I follow you. Yeah, I had trouble with that one. But, you know, you'd think by now I would have learned it, but something about playing for your parents, man, right? The next song is, I've been fortunate where I've traveled the world quite a bit. I've lived in 6 different states in the US. I've lived overseas. I've traveled over 30 countries, been around a bit. And since I was raised in a religious household where the goal was to make the world a better place, I struggle sometimes with organized religion in general, for obvious reasons, whether it's pedophiles or extremists or whatever. But the one character, that's not the right word, the one person or Son of God, Jesus, boy, I never can figure out a way to put this into words. Long story short, because I love my parents and because I love the way I was raised and because I was taught that Jesus wasn't a victim on the cross, nailed there to bleed and die, I was taught that Jesus was a teacher that taught compassion and empathy and was a healer. Because of that, one day, a long time ago, I decided to have some fun and write a song called Daredevil, and why not, right? Ashes on the wall. You never wasted time at all. You know we await your return. You know we never really learn. Why do you do the things you do? Daredevil, wish I was brave as you. Sometimes I see what I have not found. Sometimes I jump the cracks on the ground. I know I've shown the back of my hands. I know I could be a better man. Yeah, devil, why do you do the things you do? Wish I were brave as you. You never judge us by what we've done. You only judge what we become. You know too well what we've tried. When I'm alone, you stand beside. Yeah, devil, why do you do the things you do? Wish I were brave as you. So, going through life, you start dating at some point. I had a high school sweetheart, and she was wonderful. Thought we might even get married by the time we were 19 or so. But we dated on and off from 16 to 19. And back then, that's when I started playing guitar at age 16. And back then, I really believed in the idea of somehow you're building something even that early on. So I had this song that was like, love is like a rainbow with an end we'll never find. There's no sense seeking treasures that are with us all the time. Right, so totally optimistic song. But like most things, that ended in disaster in some ways. And sometimes you're the bad guy in the story. And in this case, I think I probably was the bad guy in the story. And that's where this song comes from. I believe in God, she said, when I've seen you face down in the river of sin. I believe in God, she said, when I've seen you in a place where I know I'll never see you again. I carry a face in my head. I carry every word you ever said. Cold and starved on you I have fed, but now you've left me here for dead. I believe in God, she said, when I've seen you face down in the river of sin. I believe in God, she said, when I've seen you in a place where I know I'll never see you again. I bathe in the scent of our sins, believed our souls touched through skin. As the sea drowns the sun, well, I think of when you left before you left again. hold all the hope I might find. Then pray to God the train was on time, taking my love down track 9. I believe in God, she said. Yeah, I still believe. She helped me free myself from you. I believe in God, she said. Yeah, I still believe. But God, why did I believe in you? So, in relationships, I've been on both sides of the heartbreak and the breaking the heart, I guess. But one day, I'm coming home from work in San Francisco, where I was living at the time, and there's this really beautiful street, almost looks black and white because there's fog rolling in, and there's a tree, and so everything's silhouetted. And there's a street light kind of backlight there's a backlight for everything. And there I see a motorcycle on the side of the road and a guy on the side of the road, and I see this young lady, 10 feet down the road. They come together and they kiss. And the problem was the young lady was my girlfriend, and she was kissing somebody else. So sometimes that happens, right? And when that happens, one thing I like to do is, rather than get angry, rather than get upset, I have this thing I do, and people who know me know about this. I try to balance expectations with forgiveness. So, and this, it's my simple philosophy, and people who know me know I like to do these simple things just to make the world a little bit clearer for me. But what I do is I take the idea of expectations and I figure out were my expectations out of line, were her expectations out of line, and it doesn't matter. It could be a small thing or it could be a big thing. It could be an interaction at a supermarket or an interaction in a romantic relationship. And then trying to find the balance, like who needs to be forgiven, whose expectations are out of line. It works for me. But even with that in mind, sometimes when your heart's broken, your heart's just broken, right? And sometimes it's, everybody's fault and your heart's still broken, right? It's not always one thing or another. So this is a song about heartbreak. I want my kid to know my heart's been broken. And it's not just because of a person, it's just because my inability to navigate life at the time and get into situations I shouldn't have been in. And that's the next section of what we're going to do musically here too. So this song is called Invisible. Oh, what, oh, how, why, not the one to say. Put my fingers in some pie someone took away. Trapped inside a universe where the buses pass me by. I only know one planet, only know one sky, and I cannot reflect this light. I feel invisible tonight. This or that old hero there, I'm not the one to see. Recurrence take me out beyond where I should be. Kick the walls of mother's womb a long, long time ago. I only need a little love and a hand to hold, and I cannot reflect this light, and I feel invisible tonight. I cannot reflect this light. I feel invisible tonight. Awake at the wake of a dreamer who died more fast asleep. Pull the covers over my head, pray my soul to keep. Cracked the shell outside the nest, found myself alone. I only have one lover, only have one home, and I cannot reflect this light. I feel invisible tonight. I cannot reflect this light. I feel invisible tonight. So, feeling invisible is obviously not ideal. So, one thing I always did was I always had like a little bit of a reset thing that I could do where I could go back to a place in my mind, and I've done this my whole life, even long before I ever played guitar, where I just capture little moments, and they're not, I wouldn't call them happy places, they're just like moments, and some of them are actually bad, but knowing that I can return to that feeling, and then from that work a way out of it. This particular next song comes from getting up before dawn, living in Philadelphia at the time, and going to the Jersey Shore to try to watch the sunrise, because I had actually never really watched it rise over the ocean, and it seemed like a thing to do, especially since I'd lived near the ocean for a long time. You think I'd managed to get up early enough to do that. Didn't happen till later in life. But anyway, simple song, simple time, just a great place for me to reset. Waiting for the sun, waiting for the sun. My eyes are drawn towards where she will rise. My eyes are drawn towards a red morning sky. Waiting for the day, waiting for the day. My soul is cleansed with the first rays of light. My soul is cleansed with the end of the night. Waiting for the sun, waiting for the sun, waiting for the sun. I'm waiting for the sun. So having seen the sun rise in the Atlantic, somehow in my life it turned out that I made it out to the Pacific. And, you know, I mentioned earlier I was in San Francisco and I saw my girlfriend kissing another guy. But one thing I did see in San Francisco, I did manage to see, you know, the sunset over the ocean. Took a ride up to Point Reyes Lighthouse up north of San Francisco once. And, you know, I came up with this song partially because I used to sit in my little apartment and the sun would come into this little tiny window and the golden light of California was there. And something bittersweet about California for me. You know, a lot of things went wrong here. I still live here now, but I love it. But at the same time, you know, there's a certain sadness around it. And I think that sadness is, you know, when you live in some place that's beautiful, you realize how temporary everything really is. And I think about that lighthouse, and I think about how everybody likes lighthouse, I think, right? And then you think about foghorns and the sound of the foghorn protecting the people out there. Again, it's that, not so much in this modern culture, but, you know, back in the day, the lighthouse was really key to navigation. And again, the sound from a distance, like top of the Empire State Building, you know, anything that's calling out to you and warning you, right? So this song comes out of that. Remember when the sea was calm, wind was at our backs. Truth is there is no truth, just a lot of facts. People seem to know the way all around this place. Truth is that I am scared every time I see your face. Everything we touch turns to gold. All under the sun is bought and sold. Someone climbs the lighthouse steps each and every day. Someone lights a candle, someone lights a way. People seem to want to go where they've never been. And of course, once they do, it's never the same again. Everything we touch turns to gold. All under the sun is bought and sold. Scatter the ashes of a sailor out upon the sea. Hang the body of a traitor from the hanging tree. People seem to find their lives and lose them every day. Who they were or what they did can only fade away. Everything we touch turns to gold. All under the sun is bought and sold. Everything we touch turns to gold. All under the sun is bought and sold. So living in California now, when I was up in that San Francisco area, I was at work one day, and this guy named Anthony comes into work on a Monday, and he says his friend got shot over the weekend. And it turned out Anthony lived in a neighborhood, well, a couple buildings called the Geneva Towers up there in Daly City, and it's housing projects. And he made the same amount of money I did, and he could have moved over the hill like I did and be a few miles away from that at least. But he comes to work that day and he says, oh yeah, my friend got shot. And he's like, I'm right away thinking, well, you're gonna get out of there, right? He's like, no, he's gonna stay there, he wants to live there, it's his home, right? And a couple weeks go by, and Anthony gets a letter saying that somebody in his family had passed away that lived down in San Luis Obispo, and that he was probably gonna inherit a house. And I thought, oh, perfect. Guy lives in the projects, he's gonna inherit a house, maybe he can move to that house or sell the house and at least get out of the projects. But no, man, he was pretty hardcore committed to that. And at this point in my life, I had lived in 6 states. I lived overseas, like I was saying. I've been around, and I couldn't understand the idea of home that was so flawed in terms of danger and, in this case it was drugs and all the stuff going on in those buildings. And they eventually demoed those buildings in 1998. They're kind of legendary. They were right near the Cow Palace. Anyway, so for whatever reason, this guy Anthony really captured my imagination, and I lost track of him not too long after that, so I don't know what happened. But certainly gave me a sense of like trying to understand home and what home is to different people. And so this song's about that. I already know where I stand. I already know who I am. Bullets fired, ricochet, they won't catch me unaware. Not again. 'Cause I'm gone, yeah, I'm gone. I already know what I've done. I already know where I run. All these lies, they ricochet, they won't catch me unprepared. Not again. 'Cause I'm gone, yeah, I'm gone. And even though I can't see your face, even though I can't see your face, even though I can't feel your grace, I believe you're with me today. I will always know where you are. I will always measure how far. To tell the truth, lying here, I already know I'm not home. Once again, I'm gone, yeah, I'm gone. So if I gave one piece of advice I'm going to give to my kid here is, when you're in a big city and there's a lot of things going on, like we currently live in, a lot of people are juggling a lot of futures that they imagine for themselves. And you could be dating someone and find yourself in a relationship with someone who they're trying to get something externally. It's one of the reasons I've never stepped on stage playing my own songs is I just feel like, what am I looking for, right? For that kind of attention? What is that attention and what does it mean? And at the end of the day, some of us are really, good at performing and need this sort of thing, and some of us aren't, and this is something new to me, even though I'm 57 years old. Can't believe I'm saying that, but it's true. Anyway, but when you're dating somebody where you're not their priority, where they have other things, where it's career ambition, or in many cases here in Los Angeles, it's fame and fortune, right? Just be careful. Take care of your heart. Make sure you're okay. That's all. This song's about that. all she ever wished, letting go of everything and then seeing what she missed. Should have picked the pieces up, but I left them on the ground. Somewhere here there's a place to hide, but where it is, I won't be found. Maybe you're gonna find something better just beneath the stars under the weather. Maybe you're gonna put it all back together somehow. To wake up alive, she said, was for all she ever prayed, letting go of everything and then seeing the mess she made. Should have picked the pieces up, but I left them on the ground. Somewhere here there's a place to hide, but where it is, I won't be found. Maybe you're gonna find something better just beneath the stars under the weather. Maybe you're gonna put it all back together somehow, somehow. Our love is gone. Our love is gone away. Maybe you're gonna find something better just beneath the stars under the weather. Maybe you're gonna put it all back together somehow, somehow. So, you get a lot of advice in life, and if you're paying attention, you can even get some very key pieces of advice, but nothing is better than just knowing who you are a little bit. And sometimes there's periods where you don't know, and you may find yourself in a car with strangers or friends that you feel like strangers, and you may find yourself in a life that isn't the one you pictured. And my first feeling of really being disassociated with people was I'd grown up in Wisconsin and gone to elementary school there, and from 2nd to 6th grade, and we had moved away, and then years later, around age 20, I moved back and lived with my brother there, and I was able to reconnect with some elementary school friends and go out and hang out with them. But we were now 20, went to a typical college type party, people drinking, and I'll never forget my friend Ted and I, even though we'd been apart for years, still were kind of practical jokers, and we took a little penny and we stuck it up in a lamp, and you could see it like under a shade, like a light shade, and we just left it there for a long time. And later in the night, we pointed it to somebody and go, "Oh, what is that up there?" And somebody was like, "Look," and go, "What is that?" And they could reach their hand up there, and the penny was really hot, and they slightly burnt their fingers. It wasn't really our plan necessarily, but it was one of those things where I reconnected with him, the same kind of humor that we always had, where, plan a little, do a little trap and then catch somebody in it, right? I don't really know how to explain it other than that was kind of a childhood thing of always just trying to have fun and be a little mischievous. But then all of a sudden, I'm sitting on the front porch of that same house, and all of a sudden, I realized I didn't know this guy at all. I didn't know the people around me at all. I didn't even know what I was doing in Wisconsin at that point, other than my brother, my older brother, who was taking great care of me and encouraging me to play music, even though I didn't really have the confidence to do it. Anyway, the point of this is, sometimes you're going to be in a situation, I say this to my kid now, you're going to be in a situation where you're surrounded by people and they're not necessarily the people you should be surrounded by. And that could happen at age 4, age 40, or age 84. It doesn't matter. You just got to know when it's happening. So that's where this song comes from. Bring me an umbrella, 'cause I'm sure it's gonna rain. Bring me an umbrella, 'cause I'm sure it's gonna rain. But bring me a ray of sunshine before the clouds can all roll in. Bring me a ray of sunshine before the clouds can all roll in. Jump into your favorite vehicle, fill your pockets full of chemicals. Even though you are so beautiful, I can't feel love. I can't feel love. 7 seas and 1,000 shores, well, they're not enough for me. I don't want my vision back, I just wanna see. 7 seas and 1,000 shores, well, this earth is cracked out whole. I don't want my innocence back, I just want my soul. Bring me some ambition, 'cause mine is up and gone. Bring me some ambition, 'cause mine is up and gone. Jump into your favorite vehicle, fill your pockets full of chemicals. What we have here is beautiful, but I can't feel love. No, I can't feel love. 7 seas and 1,000 shores, well, they're not enough for me. I don't want my vision back, I just wanna see. 7 seas and 1,000 shores, well, this earth is cracked not whole. I don't want my innocence back, I just want my soul. So as my life kind of slipped down into being around some people I shouldn't be around, I ended up getting married to somebody who had a substance abuse problem. I mean, she was clean at the time of the marriage, but once we got into the marriage, there was a substance abuse problem, and it was terrifying for me because I always try to control everything to some degree, and I didn't really understand how to ask for help. And it wasn't until she OD'd and she lived, and the police called me at work, and I had to go down to the hospital and get her out. It wasn't until then that I started talking about it. And once I did talk about it, I got so much help from people, you know, and it was just, it's wonderful. I mean, it's a horrible situation, but wonderful how many people can help you in those situations. So, you know, to anybody that's in a substance abuse relationship, whether you're the abuser or the person who's clean, just look around, man. There's plenty of help out there, especially in 2020. It's a little different back then, but 2020 is plenty of help. This song, though, comes out of that relationship. If she took everything from me, she would still know poverty. all the steps that could lead me home. She took the ones right in front of me, and I'm lost, living less insane, a heartless beauty with collapsing veins. She's caused a lot of pain. I'm leaving here like there's somewhere else to go. If she spoke in a different voice, she'd only say that she had no choice. For all the stars in the clear night sky, I wished upon the one I thought was bright, and I'm blind. Where light once shone, sadder truth I've never known. I can't find a place called home. I'm leaving here like there's somewhere else to go. You would not believe the things I've heard. Never met a man who kept his word. You would not believe the things I've done. Why should I believe in anyone? She weighed me down. She weighed me down. And I feel heavy and low. I said I'm heavy and low. I feel heavy and low. I said I'm heavy, low. If she took everything from me, she would still know poverty. For the steps that could lead me home, took the ones right in front of me. So, that led me in the wrong places, but it also led me into situations where, as you're getting older, and particularly through the 90s on the west coast of the United States, there's a lot of people using heroin and other drugs, and people started dying. And regardless of how they die, you start to face that. And one of the worst things is people I knew had committed suicide, and to this day now it still happens. And it's hard to avoid that. And I remember specifically when Kurt Cobain died, and Courtney Love was at his graveside talking to the fans, talking about how older people wouldn't understand. And she was grieving, and it's nothing against her, but it's like the idea of death, like, with my parents having COVID and me getting older and having a child myself and trying to keep him alive, there's a lot of stress around it. But the worst kind of death is suicide, because if you're on the living side of that, you're always thinking, what was that last conversation I had with that person? Could I have done something? And that's really what this song is about. Forget about finding your way home. Your home's torn to pieces. Used to wonder where you were. Wonder sometimes ceases. Can get around with my head down. Maybe I deny the denial. Used to think you'd be turning back. Now I won't think back for a while. 'Cause you should have waited. Colors are gone, faded. Yeah, you should have waited. Colors are stripped, faded. Never mind blaming us, you left. Your hands built the coffin. People still ask where you are, just not quite so often. Get around looking up and down, maybe sing about what I see. Can't hide the harm. I heard your calls, I can't hear the harmony. And you should have waited. Colors are gone, faded. Yeah, you should have waited. Colors are stripped, faded. I swear I could have gained your trust. I swear you were always one of us. Forget about finding your way home. Your home's torn to pieces. Used to wonder where you were. Wonder sometimes ceases. And get around looking up and down. Maybe sing about what I see. Can't hide the harm. I heard your calls, can't hear the harmony. You should have waited. Colors are gone, faded. Yeah, you should have waited. Colors are stripped, faded. One of the most important things I mentioned earlier is like having a place to reset yourself and having a home that you can go back to. And if you don't have a good home to go back to, a state of mind to go back to, or or maybe it's just a friend or something, but it's so important because life is never really easy, right? But if you're lucky, it keeps going long enough that whatever's bad becomes good, and whatever's good becomes better, and whatever isn't good, you get used to, and you just kind of navigate it. But having a home, man, it's a lot. Why you dressed in blue? Why you dressed in black? You see me coming home. You see me coming back. Took more than a day to wreck this life. Takes more than a day to set it right. Sky may not be raining, but the sun ain't bright. Things don't change overnight. Why you hang your head? Why you hide your tears? Every word you said is holding me for years. Took more than a day to wreck this life. Takes more than a day to set it right. Sky may not be raining, but the sun ain't bright. Things don't ever change overnight. Why you feel so warm? Why you feel so soft? The world is spinning fast, and I keep falling off. Took more than a day to wreck this life. Takes more than a day to set it right. Sky may not be raining, but the sun ain't bright. Things don't ever change overnight. So in keeping with the theme of things not changing overnight, as I mentioned much earlier, I'm pretty much a libtard snowflake, which means I believe in science. And one thing I've come to accept is wherever we are on this road, we're not very far. Particularly this year, you notice it in how the country split and why some people would get behind the current administration. I cannot comprehend. There's no level of me that understands it. I understood the first time a little bit. Second time around, not so much. But with that in mind, I'm just going to have some fun with this one. This one's, I call it the monkey, what do I call it? I should know what I call this. Monkey climbs the hill. What you're saying to me now just doesn't make any sense. Are you sure there's a difference here between the past and present tense? Seems to me the only reference here is the state you're in. You may shake that monkey from your back, but you cannot choose your kin. It's been a long, long road through time. It's been a long, tall hill to climb. What you're saying to me now just doesn't quite hold up. You keep talking about some master race, but I say, master race of what? Seems to me superior life would not talk in quite such terms. You may feed on the fruit of the tree, but the soil's fed by worms. It's been a long, long road through time. It's been a long, You can talk, call your printed matter, stamped in God we trust. You keep wishing on a star, 'cause you feel you're not enough. I'm troubled by your casual approach in picking nature's pockets. I often see myself in you, that's why I'm forced to try to stop it. It's been a long, long road through time. It's been a long, tall hill to climb. And we're not there, no, we're not there. I think I might have missed a lyric there a bit, where it's like, it's supposed to go, you can count upon your printed matter, stamped in God we trust. I missed that one. Anyway, so let's move right on to, if we're going to get a little slightly political here, let's get even more political. Immigration. I believe America can be incredibly strong and still incredibly compassionate. And that again goes back to my parents, and that's what I want my kid to know about. That it's possible to be so strong that things like, what were they calling it? The caravans that they were threatening and were coming to the border with criminals and whatnot. America's bigger than that, more powerful, and it's just an incredible place. We have 244 languages spoken in Los Angeles County. But jumping back a little bit, years ago I lived in Holland, overseas, and I went to the Berlin Wall about 6 months before it came down. So it was still there. Looking out my hotel room, I could see the birds flying back and forth over the wall. I could see the fresh cut flowers where people have been killed trying to cross that wall. And yeah, I can't just leave that alone. I mean, at the end of the day, what is a wall, right? We put them there, and yeah, I can understand that you're worried, some people are worried about their tax money being used for the health care of other people, but even that's incomprehensible. Because any politician, anywhere in the world that doesn't wake up and think, how do I keep my constituents healthy, is not a good politician. Any of them, anywhere. So number one thing, healthcare for everyone. Number two, then it's not an issue if people come over the border, if the whole world's working on that. And I think the whole world should work on that. And you can call me libtard, you can call me snowflake, I'm okay with it. That's what I got to say to you. Should they run or will freedom come? I still can't hear her voice. Standing in the day, I've been standing in the night, standing with no cover from the tower light, staring at the wall. I've been staring at the ground, staring with the hope of moving swifter than sound. Should they run, or will freedom come? I still can't hear her voice. Last 4 years, it's been normalized to be cruel to immigrants. It's been normalized to separate families from one another. And I'm looking forward to a better new year. I really hope 2021 we get a little bit better government, a little more compassionate, a little more empathetic, show a little bit more love, right? Puzzle, I've been standing in the maze. You've been standing in the middle, standing in my way, Should they run? Should they run, or will freedom come? I still can't hear her voice. So let me do a little quick tuning here. Technology, right? Close enough. But you go through life, and you get to my age. This is a song I wrote recently. This one pretty much sums up everything about how I feel in general. It's called Easier Said Than Done. Took a ride on a wrecking ball, and I confirmed that big things fall. Someone said I'd regret it all, but they didn't say how much. Standing in the new cityscape, I built a trap just to find the escape. The advice I got was to change my ways, but they didn't say how much. It's easier said than done, like climbing ladders with broken rungs. I want to sing, but I have no lungs. It's easier said than done. Found some strength on a foreign shore. Back at home, found my judgment poor. Someone said that happened more and more, but they didn't say for how long. My monster wanders like scattered seed. The thoughts I gather aren't the ones I need. The advice I got was to let it be, but they didn't say for how long. It's easier said than done, like climbing ladders with broken rungs. I want to sing, but I have no lungs. It's easier said than done. It's easier said than done, like climbing ladders with broken rungs. I screwed that song up completely. Sorry, man. I was never playing that one right. I'm going to change your order a little bit here. Okay, so let's just get back on the subject. Let's get back on the subject of just being the best version of who we can be, you know, and be more empathetic, sympathetic, just elevate our lives a little bit. Let's try to be better people. This song I wrote right before September 11th happened, that summer, and it's a song about flying on an airplane, because I like flying on airplanes. I like looking out and meditating sort of and thinking about the world in general. That's where this song comes from, and it's just a lot of fun for me. Step aboard the airplane, ground travel slow. I know what's right, left below. Either way I go, I wanna be I want to be more than I can. Step outside this daydream, mine's clouding yours. I know the where and what it's for. Unlock this door. I want to be more solid shore. I miss the land I call love. And I'm reminding her I wanna be more than I am. I wanna be more than I can. Either way. Either way, I'm yours. So I just started talking about trying to be a better version of ourselves. One story I want to tell really quick. When I lived overseas, I came back and we were subletting our apartment to somebody, and there were some real characters living there. Came home for the first time in almost 2 years, and we were going to move back into our apartment, or at least we were thinking we were. And first thing I saw when I entered the house was a large bowl with a baby seal picture in it, and inside the bowl was a giant bone from a deer or something. I don't know. It looked like a femur. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Anyway, so the house is weird. A lot of things were happening, strange. These 3 girls were living there. I opened the oven, and there's a Barbie doll inside the oven, not melted, just sitting inside the oven. And I knew things were a little out of hand. And back in those days, a lot of people were into like this American version of Santeria and voodoo and all this sort of thing. I had realized I was walking into a real-life version of that. You can't make this crap up. Anyway, these girls come home to meet us and figure out how we're going to exchange and get back into our apartment. And we've already been thinking we don't ever want to go back in this apartment again, even though it was beautiful. And 3 girls are gathered around me in the little kitchen right by the oven where the Barbies are. And one girl's got some white powder in her hand, and she blows it into my face. And to be honest, I wasn't that concerned because she seemed like an amateur at what she was doing. And also, it's the powder's on her hand, so I was like, well, whatever that is, it can't be that dangerous. But they were doing this whole thing of trying to scare me. It was the strangest thing, especially since they were smaller women and I'm a bigger person. I just felt like, what is this? But the point of the story is, after that happened, I kind of sat there and said, well, I should make a song out of this. I should make a song called Psycho Voodoo Bitch. And it seemed like a good idea at the time. But thankfully, my higher self spoke to me, or whatever you want to call it. Maybe my parents, I don't know, they spoke to me through time, again, speed of sound, finally reached my ears. And I didn't write Psycho Voodoo Bitch. Instead, I came up with this song, and I think this one's much better than Psycho Voodoo Bitch ever would have been. You can give me the rope, but I refuse to hang. You can give me the venom from the serpent's fang. I'm not afraid of pain. I'm not afraid of pain, no. Got the cure right here for this heart of shame. Love all my enemies. I'm gonna love everything I see. You can try your voodoo, you can stick your pins. If you steal my soul, well, you only get my sins. I'm not afraid to change, I'm not afraid to change, no. Got the cure right here for this heart of shame. Love all my enemies. I'm gonna love everything I see. I'm gonna love all my enemies. I'm gonna love everything I see. You can split the atom right before my eyes. You can launch all your weapons, but I refuse to die. I'm not afraid of pain. I'm not afraid of pain. Oh, got the gear right here for this heart of shame. Love all my enemies. I'm gonna love everything I see. I'm gonna love all my enemies. I'm gonna love everything I see. I'm gonna love all my enemies. I'm gonna love everything I see. I'm gonna love all my enemies. I'm gonna love everything I see. I was mixing up those chords a little bit at the end, but you know, it's trying to change the world. It's a lot of work. This last song I wrote when I was 16 years old, sitting in front of my house at 240 Gropp Avenue, Hamilton Township, New Jersey, suburb of Trenton. My father at that time was an editorial writer for the paper. My mom was a nurse. My little brother, 13 years younger than me, we had just gone to a music recital where the kids had played recorders and whatnot, and I had just learned how to play guitar, and I thought, I gotta learn how to finger pick. So I came up with this song, and it's really simple. And again, it's 41 years ago, and this is the last thing I'm doing. And it has been in my head for 41 years. And, you know, I just want to give it to my kid so he's got some sense of how his dad felt when he was 16. And thankfully, I still feel much the same way now in terms of, you know, I didn't, as much as I've gotten lost over the years, I've never gotten so lost that I, you know, can't remember what it means to be a kid again, and hopefully make a better world for 2021 if we can. You know, we laugh and we cry and we live and we die, looking for some kind of change, so familiar yet so strange. Still we love and we hate, and we leave or we wait, searching for some kind of truth, telling stories of a youth. Still we hope and we dream, and we plan and we scheme, living our lives carelessly. Sometimes it's too hard to see. It's not just you and me. It's not just you and me. It's not just you and me. We're kind and we're cruel, and we're friends and we're fools, looking for supporting crowds, staring at the passing clouds. Still we hope and we dream, and we plan and we scheme, living our life selfishly. Sometimes it's too hard to see. It's not just you and me. It's not just you and me. It's not just you and me. If anybody made it this far, thank you. Appreciate it. And to my son, I love you so much. And I hope that this record somehow is in, you can see this 40 years from now and see a little bit about your dad.